Stewardship is a very big thing. It's more than just money, as some people think. For in reality, we are stewards of everything God has made. For God made the heavens and the earth. He gives us life, gives us all the resources we have. And as stewards, we are to give back and to take care of as best we can, for He has entrusted it to us. He holds us all accountable for our stewardship of all our resources and wants us to be faithful stewards of everything.
Stewardship means to me is putting your church first, the needs of the church, always being there for the church, and whatever the church needs, even if the project's small, always supporting and being there for your church.
Stewardship to me means giving back what the Lord has given us. He has been so good to us, and I just feel like the first check we should write is to the Lord and make sure that He gets His part. And there's been many times when you think, oh, if I don't pay my tithe this week, I can do this or that. But you know, He always provides for us when we provide for Him.
I've been on outreach committee for the past few years, and the soup kitchen is the biggest part of our outreach. And we have gone from feeding just a little over 200 to between 400 and 500 every other month. And it takes a lot of time and volunteers to help pull this off.
I believe that we each need to put as much time into doing what we can for each other and reaching out to the community as we do through the soup kitchen, and I deliver in the area that I live. Now, even though I've moved, I have not quit doing that. I still go back to those people.
What stewardship means to me, it's a faith challenge in 3 ways. And the first way is being a member of Spindale United Methodist Church. I feel like we are all missionaries of God. And being a missionary, we give our talents, our gifts, and our time. Secondly, I feel like it's a faith challenge because sometimes it's hard to let go of our monies, but we need to step out on faith and give, and knowing that God will bless others and in return bless us. Thirdly, I feel like it's a faith challenge because sometimes it's easy to miss a Sunday and get off track, but it's God's a forgiving God, and we can get back on track and keep our focus, and ultimately we will grow in our faith.
Well, I think stewardship means giving back to the Lord. I grew up in Spindale United Methodist Church. I think it's a very special place. When the Lord called Samuel, He didn't recognize the call initially, but ultimately He did. I think we should all recognize the call of Christ to do service, and part of that service is supporting your church, whatever your community of faith is. I think Spindale United Methodist Church is a great community of faith. I've been here all of my life. As I have indicated previously, it is a congregation that embraces you during the good times and bad and helps you, and then when things are tough, they lift you up to Christ for His everlasting grace. So I think it's very important that we make sure that we do God's will by helping the needy, but also helping the Christian mission of our own community of faith, and there's none better than Spindale United Methodist Church.
Stewardship to me is helping out our community. For instance, Spindale United Methodist Church raised over $1,000 for Relay for Life this year. We collected canisters of coins to can cancer and had luminaries in honor and memory of folks that have cancer. Thank you.
Stewardship to me means using your time, talents, and gifts for God. And we can be good stewards by participating in Box City, raking leaves for elderly people, and doing mission trips.
Tithe. I think everyone should tithe. That's what the good book says, and I haven't always, but for the last good many years I have.
When I first came here 16 years ago, I came in to a very warm and friendly place. It wasn't necessarily the preaching that got me hooked, it was the people inside. So stewardship to me means to keep it going, for others to have a place to come just like we do.
God has been so good to us that I feel it's an opportunity and an obligation to give back. I think it's important that we give of our time and our talents as well as our tithe. I do think that in this economic times, it's especially important to help others, and I've seen in all of our programs, our Lunch Buddy program, how important it is to the children, and our soup kitchen. We see so many meals go out, and I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to give back.
Stewardship means to me sacrificing things, even if it's something that you love.
Back in the early 70s, my husband and I had 2 small children. We had never pledged to our church. We decided, after some good friends had talked to us, to make our pledge. I had never pledged because I always felt like that was a contract. That was a definite contract of giving, and that I had to follow through with it no matter what. Well, we pledged in the fall. In January, my husband lost his job. He was laid off from Lockheed Aircraft. He was also in his last semester in college. There we were with 2 small children and not having any income. But we had pledged, and we had pledged to the church. My pastor told me that we weren't obligated to it, that we could back out on it, and I felt no. So after praying for what I would do and what we would do, I asked, what is something that our church pays someone to do that I could do for the coming year? As it turns out, the lady that had been responsible for our nursery for over 35 years was elderly and had to leave. They didn't have anyone to take care of the nursery for our church. During that time, I never got to attend church for an entire year. I took care of the nursery. But during that year, we more than covered what our pledge had been to the church. Since that time, we have always pledged. We have always stuck to our pledge because it is a contract with God. But it is a contract that helps us fill, not only financially, but it asks us to give of ourselves along the way.
Well, I think that stewardship to me means the giving of oneself for different reasons. I have decided to get involved with the backpack program because I think it's very important for the children of this area. The backpack program is for children at risk. It started at Spindale Elementary School as far as I know, but now it's expanded to the middle schools because of the unemployment in this area. And there are children that go home on Friday that don't have very much food to eat over the weekend. So these children are screened and the teachers fill up their backpacks Friday afternoon and then they bring them back empty on Monday. It's amazing to me.
To me, stewardship means, as a Christian, reaching out to others and using our gifts we get from God to help others.
Stewardship means time, money, anything that I can give to help other people. I believe that the teachers, the Sunday school teachers, are all a necessity. I believe we always need more. Working with the children, it's always fun and rewarding.
Tithing is very important to Paul and myself, and since we've been married, we've always tithed, although a lot of times it's been hard and there's other things that we thought, we could use the money for, but we've done the tithe first and used the rest of the money for everything else that we needed in life. And it's been a blessing, and being members of Spindale Methodist Church, we've seen where our tithes have been used for ministries both within the church and then out in the community.
I know that others have tithed, and I've seen what it's done. I've seen where it's helped our youth. I've seen where it's helped outreach in the community. I've seen where it's provided coats. I've seen where Angel Tree has touched people. When we're giving, we're helping others, we're blessing others. God is blessing us.
Well, stewardship to me means giving of what we have back to who it truly belongs to.
To me, stewardship is a lifelong commitment to the church and to God and to my faith. When I was a small child, probably 6 or 7 years old, I started tithing to the church because my parents gave me a small allowance every week. So after my allowance was given to me, I would make out an envelope with my parents' help at first, and then later on my own, and I would give a 10% to the church. And it's just something that I've kept doing over the years. As I grew in the church and learned more about my faith, it's become very important to me. At first it was just something I did because my parents said I should do it. But now I feel like it's my commitment, it's my way of giving back for what Jesus has given to me.
Stewardship means to me that you should give to the Lord before you give anything else.
Stewardship to me means to give all the time, money, anything I have for this church.
To me, it's the same. Give time, money, and just beyond that, it comes from the heart. And giving your heart to others, whether it's sharing your testimony or teaching others about Christ.
Stewardship to me means that we take the work of Christ outside of the church.
I grew up in this church. I joined the church in 1937. My dad had walked almost all the way over here from Mooresville, North Carolina. And the first thing he did was find us a place to live. And the next thing we did was join the Spindale United Methodist Church.
And he said the first person that invited him to join this church was Edith Sheehan.
So this has been a great part of our life for the last 61 years that we've been married.
One specific time in the life of Spindale United Methodist Church is history. I can remember in the Mitchell Yancey Parish, it's probably been 15 years ago, when they had a major flood. Little town of Bakersville sits on a big creek, big river, and that river was flooded, and it flooded the church. And little Bakersville Methodist Church had 30, 40 members, and people from all around came to that little church and helped them rebuild the church and remodel the church. And we probably had 15 people from Spindale to go up to Bakersville and help rebuild that church. We tore stuff out, we put stuff back, we painted, and to see the appreciation of people when they're in need. And to me, that's part of stewardship, helping those in need at the time they need it. And it's easy to help somebody when they don't need it, but when somebody's roof is leaking or when somebody's having a hard time financially or whatever, that's when we should really be good stewards of what God's given us.